Hi all, I'm Radhika. Let's learn the topic journalistic writing versus creative writing. And this topic is from the course print media. And now let's see what are the differences between creative writing and journalistic writing. We know both are writing and writing in a kind of creative way, but both are very different. A story is entirely different from a news story. Let's see or let's look into the differences. On the surface level, the two sides of writing them to have nothing to do with each other. Both of them write stories. We know that both of them, both a journalist and a writer, is writing stories. But both of them are different in their own way. But we know that the news story is entirely different from a creative story or a story from literature. A journalist is writing the facts. Factual events are recorded by a journalist. While writing facts, he or she also need to include creative elements to the story in the sentence structure. Anyway, even though the journalist is writing or he is elaborating the factual elements, he or she is much creative. He should have to add some creative elements in order to make it more attractive. The creative writer is writing a fiction or fact with much amount of imagination and creativeness. And what about our creative writer? Even though he is writing a fact, factual elements will be there in the creative writing also. For example, while he is writing a biography or an autobiography, he should have to add a now a kind of or much amount of imagination and creativeness to that. And how these two are different. Journalist is trying to reveal the reality, and in order to catch the attention of the readers, he should have to add some elements of creativeness. But what about the creative writer? His main motive is to attract the readers, and in order to make them aesthetically elevated, for that he should have to add all the elements of imagination and creativeness in his writings. Both of them should have a hook and a plot that creates a cohesiveness that your reader can follow. That is, both of them should have a hook and a plot that creates a cohesiveness. Both of them should have to write the story and they should have to hook the readers. Then only the readers will follow or the readers will read their text. So they should have to add the elements which are very much needed for attraction. Or by reading their works, the readers should understand what they have meant, and the readers should follow their works or their writings. This is the main motive of both of these writers, but both of them are writing in their own ways. And we have already said that the writing of a journalist may contain some elements of creativeness because he or she also wants to gather the attention of the readers. Sometimes the creative writing may contain factual elements, and we know that sometimes the creative writer or writers are also writing factual elements. For example, when the writer is writing his or her autobiography, creative elements should be added with factual elements. And now, sometimes the writer is writing his autobiography or he is writing a biography on some other people. He should have to record factual elements, but it is not the way as a historian or a journalist is doing. He is giving much importance to the artistic elements, and factual elements is presented with much amount of artistic elements. Then, but At the same time, a journalist, the main motive of a journalist is to present the story as it is. At the same time, he should have to catch the attention of the readers. And journalism is simply a creative way of portraying real life, timely events that have occurred. And we know that journalism is recording real life situations, and they should have to add the time in which the events have been happened. So, the job or the motive of the journalist is to present reality through some kinds of artistic elements or some kinds of creative elements. But the main motive of a creative writer is to present a fiction or fact with much imagination and with much aesthetic elements. And a creative writer will have all of the elements that they would need to write a story based on what they are witnessed and gathered in the field. And we know that even though a creative writer, is writing a fiction, he has gathered the elements or the thread from real life situations, or he may write from his own experience, or he has found the thread from his own surroundings. Real life events can also have an impact on his writing, and real life situations, that is the main theme or the main thread of a creative writing, will be derived from the real life situations. So reality is there always in both creative writing and journalist writing. And for journalists, this is all they write about. But we know that as journalistic writings are more real, or it is really reality based, and it is all about reality. Creative writers need to have this skill in their wheelhouse as well as to be the best writer they can. That is, they should have much amount of skill to be creative than a journalist. And a professional writer should understand this phenomenon and be comfortable doing both journalistic and creative writing work. And anyway, it is said that a creative writer can write both um, as a journalist and as a creative writer. Anyway, he knows the art of writing. That is why he can write according to the reader's aptitude. That is why it is said that a creative writer can write both in a journalistic and in an artistic way. Okay, hope you have understood the differences between creative writing and journalistic writing, and the difference in approaches towards the journalistic writings and creative writings. So, listen to this video carefully, and while you are writing, you can scribble down notes in your notebooks. And if you have any doubts, don't hesitate to ask me. Please ask me your doubts and prepare for the flipped class. Okay, thank you.